Shanti, Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality, and evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are on the Nectar of Supreme Knowledge, and we are studying the chapter, the ultimate state, which is the conclusion of this Yoga Vasishtha, a state which you can say it is there, it is empty or non-empty. So it is empty or non-empty because it cannot be expressed. So some say it is empty, but empty means what empty? Empty of this name and form, as we see, and empty of these three qualities. But there is something which cannot be expressed. That's why that is eternal. So here we are on the verse number 31. We are reading that on page 339. And we are reading the conduct of the wise person, how they live in the world, as in Bhagavad Gita and other places has been said. So it is Yoga Vasishtha is also talking about same. So we have read that this verse, that doso buddhyo ubhayatito nishedhat na nivartito gunabuddhya cha vihitam nakaroti jatharvaka. That was the verse we are read. We did some reading up to a certain point. What does it mean? That a person of realization, dosa buddhya, ubhayatita, because he is gone beyond ubhaya. Dos means defect, guna means quality, no? Good and bad. Because he has gone, therefore, nishedhat na nivartito. Say which is rejected, he does not care for that to be rejected again. Because for him there is all Brahman. Therefore, whom to reject? And guna buddhya, and also he does not get interested. Oh, it is good, it is precious, it is honorable, it is pure. Because he sees oneness. So that also he does not get attached to it. Like the example of the Arvaka. Arvaka means the frog. The example given in the last verse, 30, that snake. As the snake, when it casts out its old skin, so long it is with the body, the snake feels it is mine. But when it comes out of the body, it does not identify with that what is called the skin, old skin. So similarly, this Brahmagyani does not get allured to be interested in something because it is holy, it is pure, it is dhamma, or not to reject what is bad. We should have to give up because it is bad, it is ignorant. For that person, there is no such distinction. So Gita also says, no? Second chapter we chant, Sukheshu anudbigno mana dukkheshu vigatasviha. Na, Sukheshu dukkheshu anudbigno mana. When you get suffering and pain, we get totally overwhelmed. But no, Gyanis don't. It does not make any sense. For them, any suffering or it's okay, it has gone. His body is going through, but it has to me. And Sukhesu, when this joy and happiness comes, detached. I am not involved into it. So they are uninvolved in both the situation. The same idea. So this translation we read that it is not that the knower of truth does not perform any sinful act due to the understanding that it is sinful activities and should not be performed. They don't do like that. Oh, it is bad, I won't do that. It is sinful. There is no concept of sin in that mind. There is no concept of holiness in his mind. He has gone above sin and above holiness. So for him, rejection and acceptance has no meaning. He lives the life as it comes. Like it is said that Ajagar, Sap, the snake, what is his name? Python. Python don't go for search for food. Food comes in his mouth. Whenever it comes, it eats. Whenever it does not, it does not. So Jnani also lives in the life just because this body is there. Something eats. He sometimes smiles, sometimes dances, sometimes become little apparently detached or attached. It does not affect him. That is the idea. So it is bad or sinful. With this understanding, he does not commit sinful things. Not that. Because his idea of sin is not there in the mind. Again, bathing, praying, and so forth, which we do for purification, that are needed to be performed with the understanding that those are meritorious. Those are meritorious, we should meritorious work. No? So it should be purified. He has not that idea more. As an innocent child is beyond all the rules and prohibitions, so is a person of wisdom. So this is the point. The person of wisdom become like a innocent child. Innocent child has no sense of purity, impurity. He soils his own cloth and he can smear himself with that. It does not affect him because he has no sense. Or anything, he breaks something, he is not affected with that. No bad intention. It is that whatever light presents, that is the Brahmogyanis live in that way. So we have read the idea what Nashkarma Siddhi said that in a perfectly wise person, freedom from aversion and similar qualities, as mentioned in the Gita, are present by default. By default, they live like a Brahmogani. Their way of living, walking, talking is just because of the momentum of the past life. From the car, if some car accident happens and the car breaks out of the wheel gets out of the what is called shaft, axle, then what will happen? It will go on, it will not stop because it is gone out of the car. It is running in certain 60 miles speed, so it will go on and drop. It has no new impetus added, as in the car. So as in the car, our ego impetus is there. I do this, it's good, it's bad. If I do this, it will be sinful, it will harm me, it will this, that. Yes, that should be the normal custom to be a spiritual person. But he is not ordinary spiritual person. He has gone above the standard. So he is not affected. Now Acharya Sureshwara on page 341, we read that Acharya Sureshwara says, Buddha Achadorkani, I don't need to read the Sanskrit. Let me read the English because it is running translation of it. If the conduct of a knower of the non-dual truth becomes wayward, then what is the distinction between him and a dog in regard to eating impure and filthy items? This is also a guard. That means, does the Brahmogyanis do whatever whimsically? No. Their ego is gone. So they don't do any, neither good karma, neither bad karma. They are beyond that. So this is the very important point to note about, that the conduct of a knower of non-dual truth becomes, suppose if we find that some people who are spiritual and their conduct, their life is immoral, so will it be so? That means he can do whatever he like? No, 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 it does not happen. Because their practice, everyday discipline practice, has changed their character. They live for the good of the world only. Say Brahmananda. Do we find wayward life? Because he is a Brahmagani, he is just leading a life as a whimsical, taking the license. We call the license. Freedom and license are not the same. License is what we take for granted unauthentically. So this is the point. So therefore, don't be careful. If you see some holy person and having misconduct, immoral, doubt it. Though it is true from their perspective, it is all same. But who knows? Why shall you go? If you get $1 billion, why are you searching for $10 thing, running after that? It gives some doubt in that, is it not? You have not got the billion. If you got billion, you will never be interested in 10,000 or 5,000. The petty things of life, you are interested in that. What type of spirituality is that? That means you are non-spiritual. What the question of Brahmagyan? So this is a warning. So it is the same Naiskarma Siddhi, and there this mentioned that it should, like a dog. Why dog example? Not the American dogs. They are very pampered dogs. They have their dog food and they have their pruning, cleaning, all this. But India or in say poor countries, they are dog. A human being don't get good food. What the question of them? So they whatever they get, after you eat, you throw away your things. They will come and 10 dogs will be how. They will take their own share. And then if they don't get that, they'll go eat some filthy thing. So is Brahmagani a dog? That is the idea example. One example is given here. No. He has no craving or hunger for any worldliness. If it is, then he is not spiritual. If that continues, but if you see they are childlike, like Ramakrishna, that you can understand. Is Ramakrishna is just singing and dancing, and sometimes he is in spiritual mood. He has taken his whole cloth under his armpit, totally naked, and is telling, am I look bad? And no one thinks that Ramakrishna is an ugly person. Though he is like a child, innocent. And no one, even the ladies don't feel any shyness in front of Ramakrishna. Because he is a child. So this is the point to be understood. Sometimes we are deluded with our devotional attitude when we think he is a holy man. He has realized God. This is a warning. Vedanta is always clear on this point. Don't get confused. Most of the places, holiness is covered with all these miscreant activities. No. So there is the point. No. Then that will be a little below immoral. Morality, ordinary people are moral. It is below, and that a Brahmagani professing that I am a Brahmagani and behaving that will, a danger is there. So it is not so. Then what should be the governing characteristics of a behavior of the wise person? That is Brihadarana Bhartika Sara, it has been said. The external conduct of a liberated one is guided by the past erroneous mental impressions. Even the illusion is destroyed by knowledge, the repetition of those mental impressions can still be seen. It is like a fried seed. No indulgence in vices is generated by that. Only the effect of the past life's karma is experienced through the present body. After Brahma Jnana, we know, immediately they don't die. Brahma Jnanis have their prarabdha karma. No? Suppose one person started the journey here, and here will be his death. And if by spiritual practice and God's grace, Guru's grace, in between time, at any point, he gets liberation, knowledge, wisdom, then what will happen? This is the time he struggled for spiritual practice. And he has changed his character by meditating on God, praying and weeping, crying. God realization does not come so easily. Don't get confused by any cheap supply of uh, nirvikalpa samadhi. Then there are many nirvikalpa samadhis available in the market. $5,000, $10,000. So those types of, it is not that business. But if you really get, because you try to change your character, but what will happen? I have come with some past, my orbit has been decided beforehand. Triggering a bullet. If I trigger it here, when I was an old guy, and if it goes, I trigger this target, so it will go this way. But I'm in the middle. And if by God's grace one gets the illumination, his knowledge will be there. But direction will change. Will the bullet turn in another direction? Do you understand this point or not? Suppose you throw an arrow and hit in one direction. So our life is like that. In our life, when we were last life, we had a desire. And something we desired, and to fulfill that, this birth. That is the Hindu faith. It is like shooting an arrow. So when I shoot the arrow in a determining that this is the goal, so the arrow is out of my hand now. Arrow moves with the momentum. Momentum is here. When the momentum will be zero, in scientific language word, m into v, mass into velocity, is equal to momentum. When velocity it becomes zero, that means it does not move. It has finished its journey. Then what will happen? It will drop there. So this body will drop at particular year, particular date, particular time. It has been predetermined by me because of my past desires. Now, in between this journey, if someone is fortunate that they are at the age of 70 or 60 or 50 or 40, he had experience of the highest realization. Then what will happen to the rest of the life? He has to live another 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. It will not show the total direction has changed. Direction is going the same way. So his past habits, past behaviors will be seen almost he is doing the same thing. Because the velocity is there and the mass is remaining the same. Body remaining the same. The internally changed, but life's journey will take him to different scenarios. You are journeying from here to San Francisco by train, Amtrak. On your journey, if you make a journey, whatever you like, dislike, you are sleeping, you are waking, your train is taking you through the ocean side. You can see sometimes ocean Pacific coming on the side, right side, mountain coming, sometimes good garden coming, sometimes some business place coming. It will come in your life. After realization, that will happen. And accordingly, you may react and act. But that is not affecting the inner personality. So this is the point. If you find in some knowers of truth, even they are behaving something, that because of his past momentum, he has no control over that. That direction has been set in previous life or at the point of this birth of this life. So one should be following that past energy. And therefore, the repetition of those mental impressions can still be seen. We can see that his repetition of the same behavior pattern is going on. It is like a fried seed. A good example. Seed is seed. But when you know it is fried, Then you put it. Will it germinate? No. It will look like a seed, but it will not germinate. So he looks like a human being, he or she. He behaves like talks and eats and interacts and make jokes and funs, everything in this way. But that cannot generate any new karma. But for us, it will generate karma. If you do anything, you have to reap the result. Good, good, bad, bad. Because I have my ego. You have your ego. But a person of realization, at the point of illumination, all is gone. Past gone, in present life, all the work has done. That's also gone. And future, there is no future. But that means he is realized while here in this point, now, body. But still his body continues. See Swami Turiyananda, Swami Premeshananda, from direct disciples to here. Don't lock it. When the class is going on, we can keep it open. Don't lock it. Yeah. No, it comes too late. Almost. So no indulgence in vices is generated by that. What happens? Only the effect of the past life's karma. You don't generate anything now. But you are only, as we are also doing, we have nothing to do. Our past impact is forcing us to go. What we are building, good karma, bad karma, it is for the next life. Or if you do such karma that all karmas will be zero, you can realize freedom here itself. Otherwise, you'll have to be born because you are adding your karma. You are any holy karma or unholy karma, holy thought, unholy thought. Everything will have its impact. No one can avoid that. As soon as you think, there is an impression in your mind. And that is, you have to wipe out again. If it's good, good. Good mark is good mark. Bad mark is bad mark. So that's why the spiritual life is a constant watch over our own actions and thoughts and performances. So no indulgences in vices is generated by that because it's a fried seed. Brahmogyanis, they are not like raw like us. Our seed is what we call unripened. Ripened even, it's not fried. So if you keep it somewhere, it germinates. Germinates worldliness, anger, frustration, these, that germinates. But if it is fried, you keep it into the water, it will not germinate. You will not find any sprout coming out. But you keep one other seed, not water, don't put water for 1 year. One day you bring out and put into the water. What will happen? You start. So similarly, if it is fried, then there is no risk. But if it is not done, fried means you are purified by your spiritual wisdom. Unless that happens, then you will have to come back again and again. Only the effect of the past life's karma is experienced. Even the social behaviors of the wise ones are varied types. No, you can find Brahmagyanis of varied types. That's true. Someone is very sweet. Someone is little angry. Someone will scold you too much. But they're all Brahmagyanis. Why they do? Because of their past karma. Their temperament is set like that. They don't mean anything. They may scold you and then smile. I say, Swami Asheshananda Maharaj, we have heard, who is the head of our Portland Center. And he was Holy Mother's disciple, now gone to the glory. So anyone goes for right or rhyme, reason or nothing, he started scolding. You Americans do like that. You right. And then immediately he goes away, he smiles. But I have heard from many devotees like that, and they liked it is childlike, simple. He has nothing in his mind. So they don't get any scolding, that thing that is Swami is not showing his grace. But actually, he shows some anger or says something. It does not mean anything. One day story, So one day he is lecturing. Swami is lecturing. Holy Mother's disciple. He's a great scholar, philosopher. Swami Sarvadevananda's secretary. He was serving Swami Sarvadevananda, and that was sent to in this country with Swami Prabhupada sometime, and then he went to Poland. Now he was lecturing, and one guy almost lecture is 10 minutes, 15 minutes done, and someone is entering. And he stopped his lecture and he started saying, Hari, what type of courtesy is this? I have come from India 10,000 miles away to preach Vedanta, and you come so late. Sit down. Poor guy, he sat down and do not know what to do. And he has to sit because such an elderly person, and with forcefully saying like that. And then what happened? Then after the lecture is over, that man came forward and said, Swami, I am a postman. So you see, this is the poor postman. He got a scold and he became a devotee afterwards. So Brahmagyanis can be like that. But you see the difference. Brahmagyan scolded and was so angry in front of everyone. He felt very humiliated. No. And so many people in the lecture hall, and he has been scolded. But that have transformed the person, because he is not doing, his anger is withdrawing, taking away the something of the mind of the person. That is the greatness of the holy people. So here this verse says, Ragi kaschit virakta anyo kruddho anyo santiman paraha prarabdha bhoga nanatvat kathang laksha niyamyate. So it means that due to the varied karma of the past lives, ready to be experienced through this present body, some people of wisdom, some Brahmagyanis, seems to be attached. They're very attached. Huh? You go to many centers, the Swamis, very good Swamis, you will see that you do anything little this, they will be scolding you. Hey, you did this, you're spoiling this, you're doing this, as if he's a very attached person. He behaves like that of attachment. Why he behaves like attachment? Because of his past momentum, past karma, past thought, that what the body was to go through and the mind to go through, appears to be attached. But there's no attachment inside. Outwardly, they show such remarks of activity which seems to be attached, but is not. Some people of wisdom seem to be attached. Some look like irritated. You go anytime, hey, hey. But it is not irritation like ours. Ours come because of our egocentric life, our likes and dislikes, our bad choices of our life. But they do, even they we may see them irritated, but they are not at all. They internally, their mind is so calm and serene, no irritation there. But it happens. Why it happens? Because it is his past life's karma and action, and that is also to do good to the person whom he is irritated. That irritation has a meaning. They take away the negatives of that person with whom these holy people get irritated. And then some act like as if they're angry, and some appear to be peaceful. Some people, most of the Brahmagyanis, you can say, you look at the 16 disciples of Ramakrishna. Very simple. Huh? There is a story in the Chandogya Upanishad or Brihadaranyaka, I forgot. There is a big king, Janasruti, and he was known for his charity and honesty and serving the subjects with love and affection. He's glorious, his glory is everywhere. So two birds are flying away. Chandragupta. One bird said, "Oh, oh, yeah, see, Janashruti, he is the king here. What a great soul." Then another bird said, "What? There is Janashruti. There is much more greater spiritual personality." And so he lives under a, what you call, bullock cart. So then he was a humble person. That's why he was so, Janashruti was, king was so great. Even the birds are singing the glory. But another bird said, "What? Janashruti is not that. There is a higher, greater person than Janashruti." Then he then sent his prime minister to find out where is some holy person lying under a bullock cart. So then he went and searched everywhere and ultimately found that one person with all what is skin disease all over the body, scrabbing like that, this, and he's lying in it. And people say he is a Brahmogani. India is like that, no? Here you can get Brahmogani in a showcase where people will be all glamorous chair and gorgeous asana and gorgeous singhasana with so much paduka in the top. But our Brahmogani is sleeping under the bullock cart. So he was lying down, and the minister went and prostrated and said, "Swami, would you please come to the king has sent me to take you to our kingdom. Would you kindly come with me?" He said, and he becomes so irritated and scolded like, "Get out from here." And then, but Janashruti again, he reported, and again he sent, "Okay, tell him that he can come." Then he said, "Okay, what you want? Our king is ready to offer everything at your feet." And then he said, then he offered half kingdom, and he will be the king, like that. Worldly thing. And like that, this discussion was going on. Ultimately, he was the angry guy living under a bullock cart, and that is Janashruti Raikya Sangvad. There is in the chapter, you will find that. I forgot, I read long back. But the Brahmogyan is perfect Brahmogyan, oblivious of anything. They are angry or are not angry, irritated or not irritated. That does not change his wisdom. Why he behaves like that? That is the explanation given, because of the past life. Now, due to varied karma of the past lives, ready to be experienced through the present body, some people of wisdom seems to be attached, some look irritated, some act like an angry, and some appear to be peaceful. It is not possible to ascertain the sign of a wise man. You cannot say specifically, this should be like this. There is no specific external sign of one who has experienced Brahman, Niyatam, Lakshanam, Kinchit, Hyasti, Brahmava, Vedinam. What then is the knower of truth like? So, this verse continues to say that Brahmajadrik tadrik evo bhaved vidwan nibodhata bodho atalakshanam tasya bodhascha swatma saksika. The knower of truth becomes exactly like Brahman due to the influence of knowledge, because they are impregnated with the knowledge of the self. So Brahmogyanis are totally become Brahman. They become Brahman. Brahmavid, Brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes like Brahman. That means they live in that eternity. They live in that consciousness, absolute consciousness. They live in that absolute blissfulness internally. They live in that eternal reality. Nothing dies, nothing goes, nothing comes. That story of the what you call Alexander story, to see the holy man in the high Himalayas. Uh, the Brahmagyani was uh, having no dress or anything, smearing ashes. He was just lying on a rock. And the Alexander asked, "Sir, please, I want to request you please come to my kingdom. I'll keep you with all in my palace with my all respect." And then he got angry. He'll get out my way. I'm sunbathing. Are he's talking to Alexander. Huh? What powerful person that you dare to say like that? And Alexander then took out his sword and said, "Do you know I can kill you?" And the Brahmagani, the same way, burst into laughter. Hey, 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 hey. You kill me. Air cannot dry me. Fire cannot burn me. Sword cannot cut me. I am that. No, you dare, you cut me. You can do with the body. See, Brahmagana, that they are established in that knowledge. They don't get frightened in front of the sword. They are not praised by the praise. They are come to my palace. It matters little for him. He's enjoying the sun, sunbath. A naked fakir, there is nothing in his body. He's just lying in a rock. And that is his pleasure. He does not care for your palace, food of the palace, or honor and respect of the palace. So that is the Brahmagyan. So that's why it is said, the knower of truth becomes exactly like Brahman, because Brahman nature is infinite. Huh? Infinite does not get troubled with the finite. Therefore, the right knowledge is verily the sign of the wise man. What do you understand? Is wisdom. That's why when you go and ask a Brahmagyani, then you will find what is coming out of their experience. Like we talk about politics. If someone is interested in politics and discuss much, you ask a question of politics, he will give so much information. So a Brahmagyani will be saturated with the knowledge of Brahman. Just you can poke in the right direction, their honey will be just dropping honey from their mouth. The knowledge will be such. So the right knowledge is the very sign of a wisdom, wise one. And that knowledge is always experienced by the witness, meaning it is realizable only by one's own experience. What is that? No one can tell you. What is the Brahmagyani like? No one can tell you. These are the hints given. But you experience yourself, then you know what is a Brahmagyani like. If the doubt arises, why due to past karma would a person of wisdom have lust and so forth at all? Even if we find that they are behaving outwardly like that. But that's why be careful. In spiritual life, spiritual practice is necessary. You may attain Brahmagyana in any way. Some people may have certain illumination, not practicing anything. But that is dangerous. Why? When you get some illumination, you may be a Brahmagyani. But when your character is not changed and formed in a proper way, people will imitate you more. What is our nature? Many people go for substance. Why? Because some people got easily some experience, I will get it. Easy path is everyone's path. And if you find any religion which gives you little sensual stimulation along with spirituality, you will get good subscriber. In our case, we can get 100 people. They will get 10,000 people. 1 million people will follow them. Immediately you will get avatar, maybe. So why? Because you are giving a little food of the senses. But spirituality is not like that. It should be transformed. Otherwise, they do much harm in the society. Because innocent people will follow them. Because they say that this Vedanta is too dry here. And there you get another, you are paying $10. So you pay $10, you get a dry, not very tasteful food. And you go another place, they give some little spice and this and that added together. Not good, healthy, but you get it. So where will you go? For ordinary people like us, will go where is tasteful and immediately palatable. So that's why the shopping, spiritual shopping centers, one should be careful. We respect everyone, but the question is that that person should mold his life in the cast of divine divinity. The practice of the Brahma Jnani who you are trying to follow should be, first of all, pure in heart. That Christ emphasized that. Pure, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Without purity, how many people talk about really spirituality? It is not to be trusted. Therefore, you should be careful. Many uh, true religion, true spirituality would be like. That's why Swami Vivekananda also warned some world spiritual leaders actually without practicing those they have some illumination and they preach whatever and people take it wrongly and they misuse those teachings and they go on slaughtering the head of others, chopping this in the name of religion. People do that. So this is a misinterpretation. That's why it is also a responsibility for the people of accomplishment. So if doubt arises, why due to past karma would a person of wisdom have lust and so forth at all? Then Shankaracharya has responded to this question. What? He says, Brahmatma bodhamatrena shastra arthasya samaptina ragadaya santu kamang natad bhavo apuradhyate. The fullest accomplishment of a wise one comes through the experience of oneness between Brahman and the self. No. Highest knowledge is what? I am Brahman. No. So that fullest achievement of human life is to be wise. Wise in the sense to experience. What to experience? I am oneness between myself and Brahma. Aham and Brahma. By this, the significance of scriptural saying, what is the scriptural saying? Quote, liberation is attained verily through knowledge. Liberation is only possible, Gyanat Mukti. Only by knowledge you can get liberation. So that type of quotation also become validated, is proven. Therefore, after the attainment of knowledge, if there is a remainder of any trace of attachment and so forth, due to the past life's karma, ready to be experienced to the present body, so be it. That's why you find that Brahma Jnanis also suffer so much at the last phase of their life, health hazard. Say Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda. He has so many abscess and everything in the body. Becomes so weak and diabetes and this and that. No? You read the 16 disciples, their lives. They all suffered during their passing away. Why? They are all pure person. Oh, don't look at that. It is the past life's karma. Or if it is so, they have taken someone's karma. Then there are two reasons. So, it is not offensive at all. If they do whatever through their body, either they suffer or they enjoy. Swami, we are talking about Swami Akhandananda. He was requested to be the president of the Belur Math, or our headquarters. No? Presidency is no attraction for them. He said, no, I am not interested in it. But all the senior Swamis went and fall at his feet. Maharaj, you will have to, who else will be? You are our the most senior and Thakur's disciple, you will have to be like that. And he is not agreeing. And then someone said that, Swami, this is a good pen. And this pen is so costly. Oh, is it? It's good pain. Ah, acha, sign and see. And he signed and he accepted the presidency. So what happened? A simple pain, it will look like that he is greedy for a pain. Huh? But par excellence Brahmajnani, their behavior is this is like childlike, some play. So there it may seem attachment. You know, Bigyanananda Swami had several pains. He used to collector of pains, so many pains. And if you give one pen, Swamiji is very happy. Even our Atmasthananda, this Swami president, he was fond of pen. If any time you give some parkar or something like that, it's a good pen because he has so much collection. He will be very happy. As if we become happy if someone gives me something which I like. But these Brahmagyanis do behave like that outside, but inside they are not at all affected. In other words, it is not an obstruction to knowledge. This type of thing, though they are past sanskaras, past behavior, the body functions according to the what you call momentum of the past uh, movement, but it does not affect them at all. The right knowledge of Brahman will not arise at all if there remains sufficient karma of past life ready to be experienced through the present body. So you have to finish your karma. Brahmagyanis, that's why it is called Vimuktascha Vimuchate. They once get liberated while in body, and when their body drops, then it becomes eternally liberated, never to come back. Brahmagyanis, Jivan Muktas, on the spiritual journey by practicing this, that, by Guru's grace, by God's grace, if they realize at any point of their life, rest of the life he will continue because he has to go through that life. Otherwise, it will be how his momentum will suddenly cannot be zero. A 60-mile speed or 80-mile speed car was going, and white, even you try to brake and put brake and anything, it goes and hits something. You are not putting, your gas pressure is up. Gas, but this car does not stop because you have taken out the gas supply. So similarly, you have not giving any more impetus to your desires or anything. You are done with that, but this car will go. So that is the way no one can avoid those things. But because they are free from all types of entanglements and knowledge has dawned, so they are not affected by whatever happens. For a person with an enormously impure intellect, it is not possible to follow the path of knowledge, even if he makes sufficient effort to practice spiritual disciplines like internal and external self-restraints and so forth. That means an enormously impure intellect, whose mind is impure, whose intellect understanding is impure, they cannot realize the fullest knowledge. Purification, purification, purification. That's why we do japa every day, why we do meditation every day. That is to be continued, continued, continued. That purity does not come. But sometimes, as I said, for special people, Ramakrishna touched someone. What happened? Immediately, knowledge came on January 1st. And then somebody came back and said, Sir, I cannot contain this, I cannot hold this. Please take back. No? He's not a bad guy. But after that, what happened? He lived long. But he lived like a householder. But his inner wisdom never abated that person. So, it is knowledge, following the path of knowledge. It is not possible to follow the path of knowledge, even if he makes sufficient effort to practice spiritual disciplines. Meditation, japa, you're trying, but not paying attention to the purification of your mind and intellect. That will, however, in the case of wise one, even if lust, anger, and the like are sin, while performing their social activities or eating or wandering around, his lust and so forth are to be understood as illusory appearances. That means they are not affected. It is happening, but they are totally beyond that. To comfort the experience of the karma of past life, ready to undergo through the present body prarabdha, ignorance and its effects, though obstructed by knowledge, still continue to exist for some time. ওই যে, prarabdha, the momentum of the last life, continue for certain time till it becomes zero. The continuation does not obstruct your knowledge. That means once you get a knowledge, it will be yours. Ramakrishna said, like a toothache. If someone has toothache, he may do work, he may even walking, he may be driving, but he will never forget the toothache. That pain will remind you. Similarly, the consciousness, the bliss, the joy which is Brahman, if once they get a touch of it, that's why even that Vaikuntha Sannal, that Vaikuntha who came back to Ramakrishna, he said, Sir, I cannot take it. Oh, Master, please take back. I cannot hold this. Thakur Ramakrishna touched him and said, okay. And he came down to normal sense. But if you read the remark of Vaikuntha, he said, but by his grace, that experience never left me. Whenever I wanted, I could go back to that. That's the beauty. Anything, you cannot compare anything of the world like that. Once you got it, and every time you will go, every time it will diminish. But he said that whenever I wanted to go back, I could feel that experience. That continuation does not obstruct the knowledge, rather, it only extinguishes your prarabdha. The purpose of this, to extinguish your prarabdha karma. These lusts and the like are not firmly rooted, but are very frail, as if those are like snake without its venomous tooth, due to the destruction of ignorance. As a snake, charmers, what they do? They break the poison neck and teeth. And then if the snake even bite, it can bite, it can strike, but no one will die out of that. They say Brahmagyani, those who be angry or do something, it will not do any harm to anyone. It cannot. That egocentric personality is dead. It neither causes bondage to one's own self, nor does it harm any other person. The existence of the illusory appearance of doership and so forth for the experience of prarabdha remains. How long it will remain? Until the death of the body. When the body drops, then it will be perfectly free. Any question is there? No, any question is there? So we have still a few. As I can finish it because the next 32 verse we can go next day. Though the snake illusion is gone, given an example, trembling and the like continues on for some time due to misapprehension. No? Similarly, even if the ignorance with its effects cease to exist, the knower of the self keeps experiencing a semblance of the world of doership and so forth till the completion of prarabdha. So what does it say? Suppose in the darkness I was going and I stepped upon a rope and I thought it is a snake, and immediately my trembling, my fear, my heart palpitation will start. No, it will continue. How long it will continue? Even someone brings a flashlight, you know it is rope, but still palpitation continues for some time till it becomes normal. Similarly, when the ignorance is gone, The momentum of the past life continues. And that's why the person eats, sleeps, talks, gets irritated, or sweet and sour, all the behavior you find, that is because of that. But it does not affect that person. A strong attachment to the worldly objects, where the mind roams around, is a sign of ignorance alone. What is the sign of ignorance? When your mind is roaming in the worldly thoughts and world, that is the ignorance. How is it possible for a tree to be green if the tree has fire on its core cavity? If some in a tree, if you put some fire in its cavity, so will you see the green leaves there? They will also dry. So therefore, similarly, one whose mind, the fire of knowledge is strongly blazing in the mind, deep-rooted attachments and so forth cannot exist. A person who's in the heart, fire of renunciation, fire of discrimination is blazing like that, that heart cannot have the attachment and other things. Therefore, it is impossible for a wise one to act on impulse. Okay? Even though tormented by hunger, on page 345, nobody desires to take poison. I'm hungry, but someone brings a cup of poison to me. Will I drink? Similarly, therefore, how can a discriminating person satisfied with the sweet desires to eat food mixed with poison? That how they cannot enjoy the world and worldliness at all. Therefore, as a wise person is free from conception of desirable and undesirable, there cannot arise any doubt about this, having any uncontrolled behavior at all. The body, senses, etc. of a wise one remains involved in action only for the destruction of his prarabdha. Lust, which is born out of his tendencies towards prohibited actions, gets uprooted due to the influence of knowledge. Normally, it should do. Knowledge or devotion will take away the deep rooted connection with the world and worldliness, our attachment, our lust, our greed. That cannot stay anymore. The inner meaning is that the right type of knowledge cannot arise at all as long as latent impressions, which ignite the tendencies to consciously become involved in prohibited actions, are present. So long my mind goes for prohibited things, immoral things, knowledge has not come. So, knowledge don't means it burns away. Knowledge is like a fire. It takes away all these attachments, attractions, weaknesses. That's why we think of Gayatri Mantra or we think of light, effulgent light, etc. Okay, so we end here today, and then we are almost coming to an end, but we'll read then that Ram Shanti Gita then. Okay, so I'll send. Oh my God! Next day is almost or another day maybe. Shanti Gita we'll read, and we can send you a copy on website to the addresses those who are, or the link we can send where you can see the Sanskrit original. This book is not available in book form probably, but we'll send you the online there along with his transliteration or English translation like that. Then we'll discuss things. The Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Arjuna's advice to Arjuna, no? when his son was killed in the war, Mahabharata war, and he was so upset. So Sri Krishna then, God, gave him some wonderful advice. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panamastu. Kichu আছে? So there is a question. I'll read quickly. Kichu now give the.
One comment is there that who you advise to management. She said that she contacted and they accepted her.
ঠিক আছে, এটা তো এখানে বলার দরকার নেই, প্রশ্ন থাকলেই how to keep my mind always on Holy Mother. Now and then my mind goes away and I have to consciously get it back again. How to make it permanent? You know, this is the eternal problem on Irwan. He is from Tokyo. So our mind always goes like that. We'll have to pray to Mother, oh Mother, help me. Cry sometimes if we can. That is the best. If you can cry to Mother, Mother listens more. And we'll have to practice, practice, practice. It is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Abhyasa, practice. Vairagya, detachment. Huh? Let the mind be every day we to analyze this world is unreal, this is unreal. God is the reality. Oh Mother, make my mind move towards that. But he'll forget again practice again this. So that is the only response what our scriptures has given. Even Raja Yoga, the sage Patanjali, he has said, Abhyasa Vairagya Bhyam Tan Nirodha. You want to keep the mind niruddha, mind peaceful. Mind is always turbulent. You want to keep it peaceful. Therefore, what you do? Abhyasa Vairagya. Two weapons. One, do practice every day and detach from the things which distract you. You are not to give away your food, but mentally to detach. Whatever comes, that's why the attitude. Whatever comes, take it as prasad. Whatever comes. When you choose something, then you get attached. But it should be healthy food. You don't go to that extreme because we are not in samadhi state. Little good food is good. Good food, good health, those strong things. And another, if we consciously bombard the thought that we are liberated, does it help? Yes, true. Swamiji says, day and night say, I am Atman, I am Atman, I am pure. When you say I am pure, pure you become. That's why it is bombarded the thought that we are liberated, we are liberated, we are pure, we are this. Not I am this bound soul. If we can say again and again and again, of course some energy will come, some strength will come, some power will come. That is the suggestion. Okay? Yes, that is also to be practiced. Thank you. These are the two questions I had. Jai Shri Ramakrishna.